Good evening. Welcome to garblaggames and Season 2, Episode 5 of our Imperium Maladictum game, Shadows of Apostasy. If you're interested, the links to the Discord channel and the Patreon will be in the post description below. If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does help the channel. I'm Richard, the GM for tonight. Now, unfortunately, we have lost one of our group for a short period. Rob sadly will not be able to join us probably for the rest of the season. We shall have to see. But in the meantime, let's meet the cast.
Good evening, I'm Aaron, and I am playing Harrow, a sanctioned psyker and biomancer who fervently believes that his psyker abilities are a gift from the Emperor to help in the Emperor's holy crusade against all that's wicked.
Totally not a cultist of the Emperor Demon.
Blood for the Blood Emperor.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Ben, and I am playing someone who's much more faithful to the Emperor than that would have let anybody believe. I'm playing Tessera Lothos, Scholar Progenium raised, died in the wall, super loyal, problem solver. In that I solve problems with a sniper rifle from really far away.
My name is Janet, and I'm playing Zilch, an Adeptus Mechanicus, or Tech Priest. I am here to support the God Emperor and to patch up these flesh bags when they keep getting holes made in them.
Hi, I'm Roger, and I'm playing Hector Cato, the Scholar Progenium raised member of the Adeptus RBTs, who is famed for his stealth and subtlety.
Sorry. Not. Okay.
No, he is famed for them. Famously bad.
Yes, the person with no quiet weapons. Every weapon has loud as a trait. Okay, that's wonderful. Brilliant. So, okay, last time the group arrived at Calicut, which is an agri-world. They did, however, arrive 2 years later than they had originally intended to, or had originally realized, due to vagaries of the warp. Upon arrival, their briefing officer, Dansk, informed them that Pod, the Xeno... how would be the best way to describe him? A chap who was selling Xenos artifacts.
Heretic.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, on Dominus Gamma, the first mission from Season 1. Basically, they arrested him on Dominus Gamma after a lot of faff and having to fight a gene stealer cult. Dansk has informed them that Pod previously visited this world approximately 6 months prior to the group having grabbed him on Dominus Gamma. So we're 2.5 years after that now, plus minus. And they were informed that Pod had gone to a farm, one of the mega farms on this world, known as Alpha 119 or Magram's Folly. And they were given motorcycle sidecars with big chunky tires and heavy stubbers on the sidecar.
If there's one thing you learn from garblaggames, it should probably be never go to a world who's called anything's folly.
And they were given a letter to use if they desperately needed the authority of the Inquisitor, and told to go to this farm, which is a massive spread of land, find out what Pod was doing there, and if there was anything that the Inquisition needed to be worried about. On the way along the big mega highway, which was built so that the massive silo trucks of grain, etc., could pass one another on the highway and still have room for another vehicle, they were attacked by large, very strange insects with bodies of spiders, a neck like a giraffe, and a head like a praying mantis, which could run really, really fast, except when you blew the crap out of them with a heavy stubber, as demonstrated by several members of the group. They also couldn't hit crap, and they were dumb because one of them, after having been horribly wounded, ended up attacking a nearby street light rather than a member of the group. There you Two of them have escaped into a nearby farm, a nearby field, and you had devastated the rest of them. So what is your plan now? What are you going to do?
Did we call it in that we'd spotted these things?
I don't remember that happening last week, but you can absolutely do that without any effort.
Yeah, I will call it into the local authorities.
Yeah, don't need to call it into our boss because then we'll get told off.
Oh no, our boss wouldn't give a crap. But I'm sure someone on this planet is trying to hunt down these things.
No worries. You call it in the local, probably the local PDF. I would have thought.
It'd be enforcers, I'd imagine.
Yeah, enforcers.
Well, that's who I'd contact as an Arbite.
So the local enforcers. Thank you very much. We have had reports over the last little while of something in a couple of pockets around the nearby farms, and by nearby I mean the last like 1,000 miles radius.
Sorry, they seem to have an allergy to heavy stubber fire.
Good to know. So yeah, we I will put the details for that particular creature onto our boards and send some people out with vehicles with heavy stubbers on them. See if we get a couple of aerial units over, starting at that particular farm. Thank you very much.
Ask them if they're taking aerial surveillance of it, if they can track these things back to where they're originating from. If they catch sight of them, it may be good to find where these things nest.
I'll suggest it to them, but that's not our problem. I'll relay the suggestion to them.
No problem. The guy listens and goes, okay, I'll query with my superior. We might look at tagging one, geo-tagging one, to see if we can track them back.
If you find anything interesting, let me know, and I'll might scare him slightly. I'll quote my Arbite reference number, whatever it is, identification code to him.
There is a brief pause.
Holy shit, an Arbite's on world.
Yeah, a very quiet as they have paused, muted their audio before they go. Thank you very much for the heads up. Pleasure to have you on planet, Arbite.
You're not Arbite number 7 because you were a really early adopter.
007.
XP grubbing. We didn't get any XP last week.
You should have. It was 50.
Excellent, thank you. I may have not heard you.
Did you drop off fairly quickly?
Yes.
So yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah. No worries. Okay, so you report it in, no problem. You are currently parked in the middle of the big mega highway with varying dead critters and big furrows carved through the ferrocrete, and one street lamp kind of toppled over on top of one of these critters.
I mean, all the critters are dead, aren't they, that we can see? Yeah. All right, well, let's get going.
I'll up and carry on.
Do a little bit of a shuffle around in the seating, perhaps, if Dr. Zimian's got to go in for his appraisal.
Yeah, I mean, we will say that Dr. Zimian is contacted directly by Dansk and asked, return immediately. We have different orders for you. Two psychos on one job seems a bit extreme at this particular point.
I'll take a sidecar for the Harrow then.
Sounds good. Oh, good luck, Dr. Zimian.
Weren't you driving me?
I was. That's a good point.
Yeah,
but you check the stubber for.
I'll just drive.
Yeah, there you go.
There's also Jan's on motorcycle sidecar by herself.
Yeah, so there you go.
So maybe Zimian takes our bike back, and I ride with Zilch.
No worries.
Okay, that works too.
Okay, so you do a little bit of a reorganization. One of the bikes that's got the least ammunition is taken back by Dr. Zimian because
Yeah, I'll borrow any spare ammunition it's got before it goes off.
No, he does probably say, I'd like to keep at least some, just in case something happens on the way back.
I'll put the half mag back in, or the half drum back in that heavy stubber and go, yep, you've got a drum.
No problem. Okay. So you do your reorganization and you start heading off towards a farm, Alpha 119. It's taking you a little bit of time to do this, so by the time you finish this, it's probably getting on for late afternoon. You've probably got another couple of hours of driving, depending on how far into the night you want to drive, because you've got decent lighting with the street lights. Up to you what you want to do.
When do we want to arrive at the farm? Do we want to do it under cover of darkness, or do we want to do it first thing in the morning?
Let's just go straight there.
Yeah, let's press on. They will
Darkness
greet
isn't
and
gonna be
open
a
their
problem.
homes to the Emperor's servants, regardless of what time we get there.
Okay. No worries. So you press on. It's going to take you a good few hours. We're talking probably early hours of the morning when you get there. Can I have from everybody a fortitude roll?
One of those.
24 under 45.
13 under 45.
32 off of 32.
30 from 32.
No worries. So you are tired, but you're not fatigued. By the time you get to the other end, you spent a number of hours pelted along this highway.
Richard, real quick, sorry, I meant to say this before we take off from the site. I meant to purge a couple of points of warp charge from when I healed Zilch. Can I go ahead and do that retrospectively?
Yes, yeah. Let's do it properly because,
So since I'm purging outside of combat, it's a simple psychic phenomenal without any negatives to it. I got a 35.
So, okay, that's the basic haul for us. So breath fogs in the air and a natural chill infiltrates past even the thickest clothing and armor. And things are covered in frost. So, but this is something that everyone is probably fairly used to because,
We've been around Simeon.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. I haven't got thick clothing.
But I am continuing to sustain my other abilities, Dull Pain and Iron Limb. He just purged the warp charges from the healing.
No worries. Okay, so I say several hours of traveling. You're passing farm after farm. Most of it is miles of fields, some with livestock, some with arable crops, some buildings. There is some infrastructure because they've got the occasional area where they've got some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Abattoir. That's the word I'm looking for. Local abattoir.
Food processing facilities.
Yes. Food processing of varying types.
Rock's Rest Home.
Delicious Grok's Rest Home.
It's not just Groks. There is corpse starch facilities as well. So, it's a hard life being a farmer in the Imperium.
In general.
On the upside, when you stop being a farmer, at least you get to be the crop.
No problem. But as I say, you farm after farm. You do pass a couple of vehicles coming the other direction. Most of them are these big silo trucks, so massive, like a grain silo that's been turned 90 degrees, and a truck cab has been attached to it. Big, massive cab on some kind of flatbed. I'm not sure whether Aaron has frozen or whether he's going to fall off the plot. Oh, there he is back. Right. Okay. the vagaries of the warp.
Yes.
But as I say, one or two of those you pass. One passes you going the same direction as you guys, as it actually is pulling down a serious amount of speed, bolting along this very, very straight megaway. But early hours of the morning, you are pulling toward Magram's Folly. Can I have from everybody an awareness test? I should probably keep the character sheet I've got here somewhere obvious so I can see the skills without having to dig into my paperwork.
Is it to detect hidden enemies?
It is not. Not in this particular case.
So,
I failed. I got a 93 over 53.
I got a 12, which is 4 success levels.
I also failed with 97.
I failed, but not quite as badly as that.
Okay, so the two riders are not really noticing much at the moment.
I'm concentrating on the road.
They got too many bugs on their goggles.
Why am I suddenly reminded of my friend who was... Oh, I won't get into that. I'll speak about it afterwards. It's a funny story nonetheless. But no problem. You're arriving close to... The only person you notice for reasons of probably being an Arbite and being sort of very much taught to be aware at all times. As you're going along the side of the farm, because it's a massive area, even before you get to the little sort of the road that leads into the farm itself.
Is it a sign that says Xenos swag in here?
It is not.
Oh.
But you notice as you're going along before you get to this road, there are a couple of sort of quite far in the distance. You're probably talking a good 70, 80 miles away, but it's flat. You're seeing what look like pinpricks of fire.
I will point those out.
Actually, probably a bit less. Probably about 30, 40 miles. So
would I have any idea what these pinpricks of fire would be?
It looks like someone's using a flaming unit or using promethium in some description to burn something.
What's the zoom like on my omniscope?
Fairly reasonable. I don't think it would reach as far as that, but you would get a better idea. So looking down on your scope, you are seeing it does look right at the edge. You're on right at the edge of the vision to be able to make this detail out, but it looks like ropes of flame sort of being played around an area, and then large amounts of flame building up around where they're hitting.
Might be worth checking out.
Best I can tell, it looks like a flame purge of something.
Could be worth investigating.
But anyway.
Do we want to complete our operation here at the farm before we move off? Particularly if somebody here spots us and decides it'd be better if they left.
How close to our farm objective are we?
Oh, you're literally, I mean, let's take a...
I mean, are we literally on it, or are we about a mile away, or?
You're about 2.5 miles from the entrance, but you're driving along, you've been driving alongside it for a good few, probably 10, 15, 20 minutes by now.
So it is still on the farm where this burn is happening?
You think so, yeah. I
So
say these farms are massive.
We'll go in the front.
Fair enough.
Put the Emperor on this house, and then if we need be, we can...
Might be worth checking out the fire first. I mean, we're 2 years later than we should have been.
Oh, it's another 20 minutes.
I'll defer to you, Arbides. That's probably the wise course of action.
Well, anything in those buildings should still be there by the time we're done checking out whatever that is. But if they're trying to burn evidence, that could be
Fire is a
gone
lot more
after.
immediate. As you say. I guess we're going to check out the fires.
No problem.
Do we want to approach all the way on our bikes with the lights on, or do we want to get close and then approach on foot?
I'd say the latter.
I don't need the lights on my bike.
Clear.
To be fair, the lights on the bike are quite bright, but also the noise of the engine is probably quite notable. It will have the loud trait.
Who's driving the other bike?
Me.
Does our tech priest have bionic eyes?
I have an augmented eye, and I have
Oh yeah, if you've got an augmented one, then you probably won't need the lights either. Might be worth
I've
killing
got
the lights on the
I've got my
approach.
optical mechadendrite as well.
I'd imagine you're not going to need lights for that.
It's got an integrated stab light.
All right, well, kill the lights before we head towards it. We'll approach the last bit on foot anyway, but they'll see lights coming in the distance.
No worries. So, as I say, it doesn't take you a massive amount of time to get to the road that leads onto the farm itself. These farms are, as mentioned, massive. They are mega farms. I think I said last time, larger than an American ranch. You know, the massive spread that they have.
Like an Australian ranch.
And as soon as you get onto it's almost literally a right hand. For those of who've actually been through the countryside in the UK, I'm not sure what it's like in America, but you could be driving along a narrow country lane with hedges on either side, and it's a sudden right hand turn to get onto one of these little tracks up to a farm. It's almost that kind of thing. It's a larger road because it's meant for these large tanker trucks to go through, these silo trucks. And it's easy enough for you guys to take that a reasonable clip. But as soon as you get onto the farm itself, you can see that the farm is really quite a regimented setup, as opposed to an English farm where they'll have a mud track probably going up to the farmhouse from the road. If they're lucky, they might have a proper road, but they don't tend to last that well. And then you've got the farmhouse, and then they'll just go off over down a couple of narrow muddy tracks or across fields to get to where they need to be. This has actually got almost like a grid road around the thing anyway. So it's like a mini town.
If it's like anything at the minute, then they'll probably all be on Holy Terror with their space tractors.
So yes, it's quite well organised. There's a lot of buildings toward the centre. It's a fair amount of light. There's a lot of again, street-like type of things, more like the kind of things you see on football fields, that kind of
floodlights.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. I hate words. So yeah, but you can make your way that way, not a problem. You will need to give me a navigation roll, however, in order to figure out the way to get around to where the fire is. I'm assuming you're trying to avoid being noticed by the other people on this farm.
My time has come. Finally, follow me, everybody. Follow me.
So if people want to, I'm quite happy to have it like the drivers roll the navigation and the passengers assist, or one person rolls and everyone assists that person, although the assistance rules are the person who rolls is rolling at advantage.
Probably best I assist. Navigation's not my strong point.
Yeah, I'll happily assist Zilch.
Okay.
I got 27 out of 42, so 1 level of success.
No worries.
Also 1 level of success.
So glad I bought that point in navigation.
No problem. So you work your way around this grid of roads, trying to be reasonably subtle. Even at this point where it's dark, there actually are still vehicles moving. Most of them are probably automated. Servitor types, so a big, huge farming servitors, but you're probably still trying to avoid too much obvious attention. Takes you probably an hour being reasonably cautious to get to where these flames are happening. You're probably about 5 miles away, and there is a field which is on fire. It looks like it's taken quite well. You're not seeing people laying down streams of fire at this point. It looks like that's all done, and the field is now just burning.
Is there any evidence of anyone around?
I say you're about 5 miles away, so
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You are close enough to see that kind of detail. You have seen vehicles manoeuvring around, but obviously far enough away because you've been trying to avoid obvious notice. So, what do you want to do?
Can we see any vehicles, like lights of them at all?
Yes, I mean, you have seen probably about 10-15 minutes before you got to the point you're at, you did see vehicles going down different roads more towards the centre where the buildings are. Look like mostly similar kind of vehicles to what you got, maybe a couple of four-wheel vehicles, cars or possibly small wagons, small trucks.
I suppose, does this look like a normal agricultural burn? I mean, they do happen. This could be a completely normal thing. I know we're not agri-world folks.
I mean, I will say it's now probably about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
By the time you got here.
Probably not at 3 a.m.
Yeah, probably not.
Can we go and try and see what they're burning?
Sure.
Let me take point.
Okay, are you all going on the bike, or are you all getting off and walking?
We'll probably take the bike up to about 1 kilometre away and then hop off.
Sure. No worries. So you get a lot closer. By the time you're getting that close, this field is massive. Yeah, this is a good sized field. It's not completely flat. As you're going through the farm, you do actually find that there are some which are a bit more, how best to describe it? There are dips and rises on some of them, mostly dips, but a lot of the fields you're seeing here are flat. This one looks almost like it's been made to be more like a folly or something like that. Bit of a dip, a few higher points. And as you get off and you move towards it, how well are people seeing in the dark? I know.
Very well.
Okay, Kato,
Yeah.
you've got your
I've got night vision.
Yeah. Harrow?
He does not necessarily see well in the dark. Not yet. He is going to spend some XP soon on a biomancer power that's going to give him the ability to see in the dark, but I haven't spent it yet.
No worries. I mean,
Although luckily there's lots of fire around.
And also, Zilch's Mechadendrite has an integrated stab light, which is basically a torch. So, that will light the area for
Probably
Harrow
not
as
going to
well.
want to use it if we can avoid it.
Does anybody have a way to? I mean, it's not too dark. I mean, it's not like you're in on the ocean floor, for example, where there is no light at all.
Quite famously dark.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, once we get close to the fires, we should be able to see due to the fires themselves. So
yeah. So okay, we'll say Hector and Tessera are leading the other two toward the field, and you the other two, you can see the field ahead of you, so there is a little bit of light, and you've gotten past most of the streetlights though, so you are getting to a more dark area. But as you move forward, you get to the gate of this field, and the area you're arriving in is blackened and lots of smoke, and it's dying down because there's almost nothing left at that particular point. The fire has burned forward and is going more towards the back. You do notice as you step toward the field, possibly into the field, depends on what you're going to do, there appears to have been a large ditch cut, probably with some kind of automated device, probably about a foot wide, a good 3 foot deep. and it's been cut all the way along the edge of the field that you're approaching.
I mean, is it an irrigation ditch, or is there anything to indicate what it would be for?
You could attempt a law roll. I'm going to say it's -10.
It sounds like the sort of thing a tech priest would know.
There's truth in this.
See if I know anything about farming.
Oh, if only Simon were here.
There are farmers on farms. I think that's about as much as I know with my law roll.
Academia as a specialisation, would that help?
Law is the skill. Academia, I think, is the specialisation.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Simple success.
Okay. You don't have all the details, but the thing that occurs to you is if people are going to do a burn or if it's a forest fire, then basically cutting a ditch into the forest, you're basically creating a fire break. So this looks like to have been a fire break they did before they set fire to the place. This does suggest possibly that it's all the way around the field, because otherwise you set fire to one field and all of a sudden all your fields are in flame.
Sounds like a convenient excuse. Sounds to me like they've dug a fake battlefield. We got dips, we got rises, we got trenches. Look for machine gun emplacements.
Funny you should say that, burp.
Can we see what they were burning? That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
The area you're in, you're not seeing a lot of detail. It looks mainly like grass and sort of possibly grain. If you would need to go in further to get a bit more of an idea. The area you're looking into is probably a good at least 200 feet of the fire has died down. It will be warm. There's a lot of smoke, but it's not going to be dangerous at this point.
All right, I will go further in.
No worries. Is everybody going, or is Hector being treated as a canary?
I mean, Hera would follow right behind Hector, keeping him in sight so that
we're all on bated breath.
I'm standing back with the elastoplast ready.
While we're waiting for Aaron, what's Tessera doing?
See, I don't think stomping in with the two of them is how she'd do things. I think she'd be taking either a tangent or going around the outside to see if they flush anyone out.
Okay.
So that's what I want to do.
No worries. So we've got Zilch in basically at the gate, Hector going straight forward, Tessera probably working his way around the edge, and if I got the gist from Aaron, Harrow is basically accompanying Hector.
Yeah.
No worries. Oh, and we've lost Aaron.
Yeah, Jan is Aaron, and I'm Roger, and it's all confusing.
Apparently, I'm Zilch, and Roger is now the ref.
Oh, wow.
Oh, good.
I'm going to award Hector 5 million XP.
Okie dokie. So we'll carry on. I'm sure Millie will do the necessary. So no problem. So Harrow, unfortunately, we lost you fairly early on, but I'm guessing.
Yeah, I recognized that when Zoom crashed on me.
No problem. And you were just following Hector, yeah?
Yeah, I was just following Hector in to give him some support.
No problem. Zilch is staying at the gate, at the entrance to the field. Tessa is moving around, sort of following the outside edge, I think was your plan, to see if you guys flush anything out. But you move forward into the field. The first, probably, I said about 200 yards is hot, is warm. There's heat coming off the ground. And there's a fair amount of smoke, so it's probably slightly acrid when you're breathing. Has Roger still? Oh no, sorry. Roger was still there for a second, so I wasn't sure if he'd frozen.
I was tempting just to keep baking it.
No problem. But you move forward. Can I have from Harrow and from Hector It's going to be an awareness, I think. Awareness or actually, I've allow intuition.
So is that awareness or intuition, or am I rolling intuition?
Whichever one you prefer.
Actually, it doesn't make any difference. I'm the same in both.
I got a 1. I'm the same in both too. 53 in both, but I got to roll a 0-1.
Nice.
I rolled a 34. So that's 2 success levels for me.
Yeah, mine is 5 success levels.
Never. So as you two move forward, most of it appears to be some kind of maze or corn or something of a similar type. But this all appears to be within the field in squares, planted in squares. So there's actually sort of a grid of this stuff. And as you move forward, you start to see within some of them, there's the remains of burning, well, it looks like fungus, large mushroom type material.
Is there any that's kind of intact-ish?
At the point you're at, no, but if you get further forward, you might be able to move around the outside of the fire, and if there's stuff further back that hasn't been hit yet.
All right, well, that's going to be my target. I want to try and get a sample of whatever this other stuff is.
Sure. So Tessa,
I'm assuming the other stuff just looks, the grain looks normal.
Yeah, it just looks like large, probably
like wheat or something.
Yeah, 1.5 meter grain or wheat or something. Yeah. Tessa, you see these two kind of move off on a tangent and then suddenly start moving around the outside, probably at a reasonable clip, I'm guessing.
Have we seen any of the people that were doing the burn?
No, you did see vehicles leaving on different tracks back towards the centre, though. So they're probably they are on there.
How restricted is Promethium?
Not really. I mean, it's fuel.
Yeah.
And if in a farming environment, as you said yourself, burns do happen.
Yeah.
In fact, your the vessel you arrived on delivered a large amount of Promethium, if you may remember.
Yeah. Plus, don't forget they're going to use it to fuel like all the vehicles on the farm and various things.
Yep. So it doesn't take you to a lot of effort to get round that edge until the back. You're probably about half a kilometre that is starting to catch at the nearest edge to the fire, but it's still not on fire at the furthest edges. So you're able to get to that point. Tessa, are you doing anything during this period?
No, I'm mainly eyes open for people rather than things.
No worries. Zilch?
Moving forward a little just so that I can keep my colleagues in line of sight.
Sure. Tessa is probably the one you're going to be most able to keep in sight because she's moving around the edge of the farm. I mean, it may not be a terrible idea to stick with her. But although if you want to keep into 3 separate groups, I'm quite happy for you guys to split the party.
I will move up a little closer towards Tessa so that you've only got 2 parties to kill rather than 3.
No worries. So Harrow and Hector, you move around towards the back. You actually have to put some speed on to get towards the back before it all catches. And as you get towards the rear, again, these squares of this maze or corner, whatever it is, as you're getting to them, you can see they're a good 1.5 to 2 meters tall, these things. And you come across one of them and you sort of move the grain aside and you can see through this grain, this white sort of fungus-like material. And as you push closer, there's a face in it.
A face in the fungus.
A face in the fungus. It's got like a largish, squarish jaw, sort of that sort of shape. Quite large eyes, sort of teeth coming out the top, at the bottom lip. Slight shading to green.
Have either of us seen anything like this before?
Let's make this a lore roll to see if you have.
I'm also going to, because I've got a helmet cam, I'm going to send footage of it to the data slate that Zilch is holding as well. So Zilch can see what, basically, Zilch, look at this, click. And
I'm going to pull
rolled
out an
a-
Auspex and start looking for movement and life signs as well.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Ooh, I got 16. It's very good considering my lore is trash.
I rolled a 30 under 31, so a success with 0 success levels.
That's
Like
fine.
2 success levels somehow.
And because of Hector sharing that with you, Zilch can make the roll as well.
Yeah, made the roll.
I can have a tech roll from Tessera, please. So you three spot what this is. I'm going to wait till Ben's done what he's doing and then go from there.
14 under 37, so 2 success levels.
No problem. So you bring up the Auspex and you start flicking switches and sort of focusing the Auspex through this area. You're picking a lot of energy, a lot of heat to be expected. Even the area which has technically gone is burned out. It's still, there's a lot of heat in the soil. But further back, you are picking up life. You're picking up vegetable life, and you're picking up a life that's there's vegetable aspects to it, but there's more animate, almost what you would consider animal or humanoid or something. You're not entirely, it's not.
Some kind of motile fungus.
Yeah, that could be it. So all of you who succeeded, this face kind of looks like an orc, or of that strain of creature. That's ORK for my wife, who isn't a bit as familiar with it.
Cato, is this what I think it is?
Looks like they're trying to grow greenskins.
I'd always heard rumors that green skins just popped up on worlds that I don't know, though.
I've never seen anything quite like this.
Maybe Zilch will have more information.
Zilch, have you ever seen anything like this?
I've read about it, but not seen. That's weird. I mean, mushroom people, are they fungi?
If I like, does it look like it's moving?
The eyes are moving. There's a little bit of mobility within the body, but it looks like the fungus is morphing or growing into a humanoid form. The head is the face is mostly.
Zilch, can you record some of this on your data slate? We're going to need this.
Yep. Start the recording going.
Harrow, have you got a knife or a blade on you?
He pulls out his power sword.
I kind of pull out a plastic bag. Can you lop a sample off?
Of course, Arbiter. He powers up the power blades, who's got a good cutting field, and he slices this orc face off so it can be bagged.
As you start doing that, it screams. And then you're hearing the same coming from a couple of these other clumps.
How have they not been screaming at all the fire?
Because it hasn't reached them yet.
Yeah, but we would have heard the other ones, surely. All right, I will bag it, and then let's bug out in case this may attracts unwanted attention.
You're thinking probably that the toxic smoke, which will hit them first before the heat, probably renders them unconscious. Whereas a blade applied directly to something that's not unconscious is probably more noticeable.
Well, we don't want to stop the fire, but Zilch, you don't know anything if fire speeds it up, do you? Because we do not want this many orcs waking up.
How many success levels did you get, Jan?
2.
Okay, with 2 success levels. Actually, yeah, it should be enough. It's a fungus. You can kill orcs. Fire normally burns vegetable matter. So this looks like it should burn. I mean, also the stuff you've already seen, because you've come across some of this, which just look like burnt fungus.
So are they killing them or harvesting them?
No, they're killing them.
Oh.
The fire hasn't reached that particular patch yet. They've not been particularly thorough.
But why would they be growing them in the first place?
Well,
Maybe
if
they
it's a
don't mean to
fungus,
be.
they're not growing it on purpose. This is an infestation.
Possible.
But if they know of it, why haven't they contacted the authorities?
They're already in trouble because of the business with that man that you tracked down previously. They probably think that by not mentioning it and dealing with it themselves, they're not going to have Imperial agents descend upon them. Bad timing on their part.
Looking around, are there other similar fields around?
In the immediate vicinity, you can't see any. There's nothing to say there aren't any right at the other edge of the farm, because it's a massive farm.
Regardless, this is the time to leave the field and head directly to the farmhouse before they notice that we're here.
Indeed.
Let's go see if anyone's home.
Okay, no problem. It doesn't take you long, probably another 5-10 minutes to get to the center. What you find when you get to the center of this farmland is a complex, a large amount of buildings, and we're talking about the main farmhouse, barracks houses, kitchen / eating areas. It's probably even a farm shop, and I don't mean a farm shop as in you go there to, someone goes to this farm to buy their
Organic honey.
Yeah, it's where
Is this Grox organically grown?
No,
This is the Imperium. No.
We 3D printed it. But it's more, you think, where the farmers buy their products from whilst they're working on the farm.
To support the workforce, yeah.
Yeah. Company town, effectively.
Zilch, can you modify modify my ore specs to pick up orcs or orc life?
Sure, and yes.
Well, I've got the signal for what we're already encountered here.
And I've got a sample if you need to scan it to help.
Okay. You need a dice roll, Ref, for the modifications?
I will say no, because I mean you've got Tessa already had some kind of information from a scan that she did, and you're getting a direct sample to work from. Just so you know, you are every now and again you're kind of moving, and all we're getting is you vanishing into the purple.
Oh, sorry.
It's not a problem. Just so you're aware.
I had a bit of cramp in my leg, and I was trying to adjust.
That's fine. So yeah, no problem. You set it up. Okay, you've got the setting on there. In order to use it, I will need a tech roll, but you've got the thing set up to scan.
Right.
So are you doing that immediately, or are you just setting up and then you're ready for it if you need it?
I'm just setting up for the minute because we know that we know where they are, some. So
Sure.
just having it ready.
No worries.
Future detection.
And as I say, as you're over, you've got all these buildings, but there's also a huge number of vehicles parked of varying types. You've got a bunch. You've got a load of trikes. You've got some motorcycle sidecar combinations. You've got some space jeeps, shall we call them? You've got sort of larger vehicles, tractors, all that sort of stuff. An array, and several massive Prometheum tanks. There is a little bit of activity. Most of it appears to be servitors. So, what you doing?
Administration office.
Let's see if you scan for orcs.
Okay.
I mean, it's only got like a 200-meter range, but it'd be useful to know if there's any orcs within 200 meters.
08 on the dice.
Okay, no problem. So you hit the go button. You start twiddling the varying bits to sort of narrow in. The weird thing is let's say this central area, which is the habitation area, is probably 300 by 300 meters. Most of it's in the center, around the outside, a lot of vehicles, all that sort of stuff. Northern edge, so away from where the big mega highway is, about 200 feet down and 100 feet further from where you are, orc life signs. You would guesstimate probably about 20.
Pass the information across.
You can't get specific because those of you, because you recognise they're orcs, those of you who did recognise they're orcs know that there are a number of different types. There's squigs, there's snotlings, there are orc
Gretchen.
boys, Gretchens, yeah, all manner of stuff. But you are picking up orcs 200 meters down and 100 meters further north from where you are.
Okay, can we kind of head that way to try and investigate slightly more subtly?
Sure. Let me just make a dice roll because you have motored up on large bikes.
No, we were walking.
Were you walking? Oh, I thought you were.
Yeah, we're on foot. No. We've been trying to avoid where people are and very loud engines.
No worries. So yeah, absolutely. You move forward. I'll make a dice roll anyway, but it's going to be a much lower chance. 008. So someone has spotted you, but you don't know that yet. So as you move through the area, there are a couple of moments where you're seeing, I say, servitors, mostly large cargo servitors. So a humanoid sort of torso on a piece of machinery, no arms, but they've got the grabbers and sort of probably the sort of flatbed type of a lift type thing, forklift truck type of stuff. But actually, can I have a stealth roll from you guys?
From everyone, or
anyone who wants to be stealthy?
I'm a 15, which is like 1 billion levels of success. Yes, that's 3
nice.
levels of success.
I got a 25, which is 2 levels of success.
Nice. Stealth roll, Aaron.
Got it.
Jan?
2 levels of success.
No worries.
I got an 8. So 3 levels of success.
Nice. So the 4 of you stealth through this farming area to try to get to where these orc life signs are being detected from. It doesn't take you very long to get close to where you are meant to be, where you think this thing is. It is 200 meters down. Where you are, there appears to be some kind of, well, the signs are coming from underneath what looks like a large warehouse.
Oh, so when you say 200 meters down, you mean literally underground?
Literally underground. And this is, shall we call it a mega warehouse? So anyone who's been past one of the big Amazon distribution hubs, it's bigger than that.
What's the play, Arbiter?
First things first, I think we need to call this in. If this goes wrong, the Imperium needs to know this is here. This could be a threat to everyone. I'm going to, because do we have contact with other inquisitorial people, or is it literally just what's on the planet?
Should be able to contact Dansk, right?
You can get hold of what's on the planet, which is Dansk, the quartermaster, and people that were brought.
Okay, that's fine. If Dansk is available, I will contact Dansk.
And he can go beyond that if necessary, because he's got slightly better communications equipment.
Okay, I'm also going to ask Zilch if they can relay the images that I captured on my picture recorder to Dansk while I'm talking to him, so he can see, we have got evidence. And again, if Zilch can also send the readings from the Auspex.
No worries. So you start the communication. Yes, Mr. Cato. What can I do for you?
We've identified they have Xenos present here. We're detecting multiple greenskin life forms.
Greenskin?
They appear to have been growing them. There's Zilch is transmitting their data now and images.
Heretics.
Has been farming them. I've never seen anything like this before.
This is madness, absolute madness. There's an obvious pause, and you're hearing him muttering under his breath. Obviously, the files that Zilch has sent, he's now receiving, is now looking at. Right. What is your plan, and how can we assist?
Given the choice, I would like to call in either the enforcers or PDF. This entire farm facility needs to be surrounded and brought down. This poses an imminent threat to Imperial security.
I will pass that information on and instruct them to move to your location. I understand some of them are busy with another life form, which is not local.
I know they can't know who we truly are. However, use our BT's ID. That should get enough attention for them to provide adequate support.
Yeah. My understanding is this other life form is also a clear and present threat due to its parasitic nature. I will send what PDF and enforcers they have available that aren't involved in that, and I will call for reinforcements. This is something that we need. If we can get a guard regiment here, just in case. We don't know how long. We are 2.5 years after Pod arrived here. Now, I don't know whether he was involved with it or not, but it could be.
I'm not sure us intervening with just the 4 of us present would be a particularly good idea. We can't spread ourselves thin enough to catch and deal with all of the perpetrators. My advice would be we should withdraw, wait for the reinforcements.
Understood.
As much as we could go in and start giving the Emperor's justice to them, too many would get away.
Do you believe you can do a information gathering scout? Do you think you are sufficiently capable of that?
Yes, we can scout around. I believe we have a suitable asset present.
Understood.
We're all assets, Ben. Don't worry.
Understood. Well, not all knowledge we can gain for the Imperial forces will help. Proceed.
Acknowledged.
Get me that and the concuts.
And yeah, I'll fill the others in very quietly what's going on. Because obviously they'll have probably only heard my end of the conversation.
Can I have an awareness test from you all? It is sound related. It is not technically an enemy. Not a hit.
Failed. I got a 54 over 53.
Is that the most annoying fail?
It is a horrible fail. I'd rather fail astronomically than fail by 1 point.
What, you mean like 86?
Yes.
I got 7 under 42.
I got 87.
Hey, one of us heard something.
I think I was too busy talking to people to spot whatever it was.
Could be. And actually, to my understanding, Jan, that 86 was actually what you rolled.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So
yeah, I was busy making sure that the pictures I sent was clear, and I was concentrating on the data slate and the.
Yeah, we were too busy transmitting.
Yes.
No problem. So you guys are doing what you're doing. Tessera, probably because your skill set, probably because what you're used to doing, someone is trying to stealth up on you.
Um,
10 meters away.
in which case, they are going to find themselves suddenly staring down the barrel of HMV.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to let it happen. Okay, so you turn, you get yourself to a point where you can pop out at the right moment, and they get to say 6 meters, and you are right in their grill, rifle up. Looks like some kind of farmer, fairly big built, good solid build. Surprisingly light on his feet. Advanced, not quite, not beard, but advanced stubble. Imagine me if my beard was sort of, I'd shaved 3 hours ago. Let's put it that way.
Going around.
Okay.
I will say loud enough for him to hear.
He goes slightly pale. You think that mostly it's because the lighting here doesn't show the grades of pale quite so well. He just
State
stops.
your business.
I was going to ask the same question. This is our farm. Must be Dad's farm. Are you come from one of the other farms to try to? I know that some of the other farms do all manner of stuff to sort of make sure they do better than we do.
My colleague is wearing an Arbites uniform.
It's probably not that obvious at the moment, other than the helmet. I've got a big greatcoat on.
And this rifle is worth about as much as one of these farms. No, we're not from a nearby farm.
I don't know. I've never been off the farm.
Explain the reasons for your burn.
Like, he looks at his arms and his hands. Burn?
The burn of the fields.
Don't
be coy.
You think actually he wasn't being coy? He was actually.
I know, but Harrow's got very bad fellowship skills, so he comes across as an asshole almost all the time.
No problem. We had some crop that was overgrown. We just had to burn it back.
We saw what was overgrowing your crops. Why wasn't it reported?
He genuinely looks confused.
I draw the power maul. I suggest you start talking and telling us why there are Xenos creatures growing in your field.
His eyes.
And I'll kind of, as I do that, I'll let the coat kind of come open a bit, and he'll see the symbol of the Adeptus BTs on my armor.
His eyes are so large, his eyebrows seem to be trying to go over the back of his head. Before you even get that far, just to mention the word Xenos. We got Xenos? I better tell me Dad.
You're not going anywhere.
But if we got Xenos, he's got... And he sort of breaks down into just almost whimpering and sort of generally not being very helpful.
What do you think the mushrooms were?
We got a fighting pit. We just use them for entertainment.
Take us to your father.
I'll manacle him.
No problem. No. He leads you with him in manacles towards the big farmhouse. A couple of people notice because he's not obviously stealthing, as he's just leading you straight there. And there are a couple of people coming out of varying, obvious guard points with reasonably large firearms that are currently not pointing at you guys. They're kind of sort of across the body kind of thing. You right? What's going on over there? Oh, we got some Imperials. We got Xenos. What are you talking about? That's the fight. The pit fighters. They're aliens apparently. I thought they were just fungus.
Ignorance will not protect you.
And you build up a small retinue of people moving through.
If they're armed, I will demand that they drop their firearms.
Most of them, as they're moving forward,
seem air of authority.
Yeah, most of them as they're moving forward seem to be almost. They kind of seem almost friendly. You know, kind of communal, very much.
Yeah, regardless if they're armed, I'm going to demand they drop their firearms.
They look. Some of them look crestfallen. Some of them look slightly annoyed. Most of them look sort of, and just sort of prop it up against the wall somewhere. You know, windowsill kind of thing.
I'm assuming that they all comply.
One or two you have to repeat, but these are
the shotgun.
Yeah, these are the kind of people you think aren't smart enough to know the difference between someone who is suggesting and someone who is telling.
Yeah, and has the authority to just execute them.
Yeah. And the one that you've got in manacles, you heard someone refer to him as lax.
Yes, well, they have been.
Which one's your father? Is his father present?
You told him to take you to his father, so he seems to be going past these people, so it doesn't seem so. Leads you up to the door.
Kind of lean over to the others and go, round them up, keep them secure.
Leads you to the door, pulls a big chunky key out of his pocket and with some difficulty presents it to the door. It's some kind of digital key rather than being an actual physical key. Door slides open, and he goes in. Pa! We got the Imperials are here. And there's some people starting to come to consciousness, because obviously a lot of people in this place are asleep. And within a couple of minutes, there's quite a gruff sounding bloke. Fellas, what are you talking about, Jax? They got some Imperials. They've got weapons. They've got expensive rifles that are worth more than our farm. And we've got Xenos, apparently. Don't be stupid. Hold on. And this bear of a man comes out of one of the rooms, literally pulling on what looks like a dressing gown that's been made out of the fur, almost the entire fur of a large creature. It's not actual bearskin, but think a bearskin dressing gown kind of a thing. And sort of walks on. It's got like one of the internal balcony like corridor type thing, so you're seeing directly up onto the balcony where a lot of these rooms are coming off of. Very ostentatious, meets in the middle, sweeping stairs down, and somehow still rustic. And this bearer man just comes down the stairs wearing, well, he's got his dressing gown around him mostly, but basically he's coming down in his boxers. Comes down the stairs, bed head, but huge amounts of hair. Looks at you guys. Is it just Hector who's in with Jax?
I don't know if anyone else followed me in.
No, I think we're all. I was definitely going in.
Okay.
Hera was following Hector's orders and was staying outside to make sure nobody took off.
No worries. How about you, Zilch?
I'll stay outside.
No worries. So looks at Hector and Tessera, and there's he reevaluates his opinion. Looks at Jax with some surprise, because Jax is actually telling the truth and is not being an idiot. What appears to be the problem?
Why are you growing Xenos?
We're not. We got corn. We got wheat.
I produced the baggie.
Oh, pit fighters.
How many of these things do you have?
How
many fields of them are you growing?
Only the one. They were getting a bit overgrown. We've got 20 at the moment, so ready to go in the pits, in the fighting pits. No one's cut. We're not planning a bout for another 2 weeks. I'll get you tickets if you want. Good odds. But they're just mushroom fighters. And Jax kind of goes, he made that name up himself. Very proud of his dad.
Where do you keep these things?
In the cells at the pits.
Take us there now.
Okay. Can I put some trousers on? He says, pointing down to his boxer shorts that he's currently standing in.
Make it quick, and I'll nod to the sniper to keep an eye on him so he doesn't try and bolt.
No, he actually doesn't move. He literally just turns back towards the door he was in and shouts, "Woman! Chuck me trousers down!" And this small, petite, dressed in for this kind of, bear in mind this is quite a rustic farmer type situation, wearing very feminine, the best quality he can afford, sort of underclothes with a delicate sort of throw over, literally lobs a pair of trousers down, over the edge of the balcony, which he goes over and just drags on. Takes him, it probably takes 2-3 minutes at most. Doesn't bother putting any boots on and starts heading towards further into the building that you're currently in.
Okay, yeah, we'll follow.
I'm Lothos, by the way. This is my farm. Lothos Magram.
I don't even respond.
There's a look of, be that way if you want, on his face, and he just continues taking you through. Harrow and Zilch, these guys don't give you any.
If there's a building they can lock them in, they can just do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's the barrack. You could lock them in the barracks easy enough. You guys undoubtedly have some kind of lock that you can stick on a door to keep it from opening.
I'm pretty sure that Zilch could just override their locking system.
No, most of these are not even arguing. A lot of them seem to be taking it in good humour. They're loyal members of the Imperium, as far as they're concerned. There are a couple who are a bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but they're being obstinate. Subtly obstinate, but they are being obstinate. Just slightly difficult.
If they step out of line, grant them the Emperor's justice. That basically means shoot them in the head. Remember, totalitarian state here. This isn't a nicey, we're the good guys type deal. We have skulls on our uniforms.
No problem. But is there anything you two want to be doing particularly, or are you just going to lock them in?
After they get locked in, I think Harrow would probably just walk the perimeter of the house and make sure that there isn't anything that he notices that is unexpected.
No worries.
Like bolt holes out of the house or anything of that nature.
Sure. Jan?
Yep.
Anything you want to be doing during this period?
No, make sure the door is secured.
Yeah, I'll make sure they know where we're going.
Yeah.
Sure. So can I have from Harrow an awareness test? I'm going to give you a -10 because it is dark. It's not dark, but there are lots of shadows.
You didn't need to give me the -10. I failed spectacularly anyway with it. 96 over 43 with the -10.
Wait, where's the building gone?
What Death Star? I can't see a Death
probably
Star.
He's concerned that there are more orcs growing in the field. So although he's trying to stay focused on the house and looking for potential anomalies or bolt holes out of it, his attention keeps getting pulled back towards the fields because he's got that uneasy feeling in the pit of his stomach.
No problem. As you're wandering around, there are a couple of sort of small animals running around in the main yard. You know, the equivalent of farm dogs or a loose animal type thing. You don't really look at them. You kick one of them away and it squeals slightly as it kind of scatters from your boot. But you're just too busy. It's kind of trying to keep it in the corner of your eye, but your corner of your eye seems to be sort of that much.
Oh, I do cuff the farmer.
He doesn't resist, but he is not. He seems to be genuinely confused as to why this is happening. Can you at least cut bands in the front so I can get the doors open for you?
I will have done because I know that he needs to take us somewhere.
Yeah, no worries. So back to you two. He leads you through the farmhouse, or underneath where the stairs sort of come apart at the bottom as they sweep down to two separate entry points to the stairs. There is a door. Looks fairly sturdy. He goes up to it, sort of with his manacled hands. He presents his palm to the center of it. There's a clunk, and the door sort of slides open, and he leads you into a room, a very small room, probably an elevator of some description.
Okay, I'll make sure the other two know where we've gone.
No worries. And he sort of presses a button. There's probably 4 skull-shaped buttons on the wall, and he presses one of them. And
40k skulls everywhere.
And it starts moving reasonably smoothly downwards. It's moving not massively fast, but it doesn't take a lot of time to travel down 200 meters directly. As you reach the bottom, a darkened corridor leading off, and literally as the lift becomes flush with the floor, just lights start flickering on along the corridor. As you move forward, you notice that every single one of them is a skull, as a torch, as a light. Top of the skull, top of the cranium missing, light emitting. And there are along this corridor a number of decorative weapons.
Okay, I'm going to look at the weapons to make sure they're on film in case there is anything not Imperial.
What you're seeing is a number of weapons. Most of them are fairly primitive, equivalent of shivs or farming implements. As you move further in, you start to see slightly more complicated stuff. There's a couple of flaming units. You do come across a couple of orc skulls on spikes. One of which has clearly had an axe stuck in its forehead because of the massive rent in it. And as you get a bit further along, you start seeing a couple of chain axes, not Imperial design.
Where did you get these?
Oh, the Fungus Boys made them. They're quite good at making stuff.
You give them facility to make weapons?
No, they just do it. I have no idea how they do it, but they just do it. It's amazing.
Where did you find the fungus?
Oh, we bought some from this trader.
Who's the trader?
Oh, God, what was his name? Jack says, oh, his name was Pod. He was a really nice bloke. He gave me a pet.
Where's the pet?
I had to let it go because it got too big. Dad said I couldn't have it anymore.
What did it look like?
Oh, it's just a little insecty thing with a long neck. It was really cute.
I just kind of glance over at Tessera with the look of fucking idiot.
I mean, in fairness, this is what the Emperor hath wrought. But yeah, there's no way Tessera would have been like, yeah, idiots. These people need killing because, good lord.
So they lead you along this not massively
Did
long,
he
but
tell you anything else?
this is more the ref thinking. Yeah, we got some seeds from him. And
What seeds?
Lothar says, bless you.
Hey.
Lothar says, they're grain seeds. They're engineered to sort of outlive certain pests that we get on here.
And where are they now?
In the fields. Well, the current crop are in the fields. Other crops have been sent off world.
Mentally resisting the urge to start executing.
It's hard.
The Arbai is genuinely struggling with just blowing their brains out.
Now,
So, anything else that you bought from them? I mean, anything.
Yeah, I bought a piece just for display. It's some kind of weapon of energy weapon or something.
And where is this?
Oh, it's in the bedroom.
Can I reach the others by the comm?
Make for me a tech use roll.
Me? Oh shit! Okay.
No problem. No problem. You try to contact him. It's just crackling. There's a sheet of paper in between you and them, so the signal can't get through.
I move half a pixel to the right.
Yeah.
So
Don't ask the Arbite to do tech.
by the time this happens, you've reached a set of very fancy doors, which again he opens with a palm print, and it opens into what looks like some kind of underground amphitheater. Enough space for probably 200-300 people. Very steep-sided Colosseum-style seating, but lots of wood. Excuse me, rather than stone. There's once you get to the edge, sheer drop about 70 feet, with very much iron spikes curved over around the edge to keep anything from climbing out, assuming they could make it 70 feet up, and sand at the bottom, darkened patches on it, leads you round to like an area where you can get a set of steps down into a much more through a door into a much more dank business-like area. This is not quite so fancy. And he leads you past an array of cells where you see a bunch of Gretchen, a couple of orcs, a few snotlings.
Is this all of them?
Yeah, this is all the ones we kept.
What did you do with the others?
When you say the ones you kept,
Burnt them.
you didn't. So this is all of them that you grew, except the ones you burnt.
Yeah. There's the two-legged ones. The little. He starts trying to describe what you recognise as a squig. That pop up occasionally, but they're harmless. They're pointless. So we just let them do their thing.
What is their thing?
Just eating, living.
Where?
We kill them. What's the word the ref's looking for? We cull them every now and again and have a big meal.
Just
You've been eating
just struggling to process what he's hearing.
Yeah. One of the chefs has well, with that, up until recently, we've had a chef that's been very good at really cooking them well. I think the last guy was a bit slapdash because I've had a bit of a dodgy stomach since then.
Well, perhaps a doctor might be in order.
So, we're all good, all right? It's just a fighting bit. Nothing illegal here.
I think we need to return to the surface.
Okay. So,
Just kind of. Kato just the little loading thing still going around his head of just the how is this happening?
a lot of the Imperium citizenry don't
they are
know what
entirely
things.
yeah, they're entirely ignorant.
Yeah.
However, that's not how someone like Kato would see the world.
All right. He leads, because you guys know better. He leads you back along the corridor, shutting all the doors behind him as you go to, gets into the lift, presses for the thing up. You're about a third of the way up when he suddenly groans, grasps his stomach, and goes very white.
Of course he does.
Oh God.
And there is a horrible ripping noise, a scream, and this bear of a man kind of gives birth to something a bit more green as it rips out of his stomach.
Yeah, I'm not even waiting for it to finish. As it's coming out, I'm just gonna start blasting.
No problem.
Knew I should have put money on that happening.
So, let's see. His initiative, or its initiative, is that. So we'll put that there. I really should clear up my combat sheet. What do they call it? Lothos, that was what I called him.
Why didn't I have Inferno shells?
Okay, so given that we are missing a couple of the members of the party because they are upstairs, or at least they're not available quite yet, let's start with Tessera. This thing starts ripping free. As it's ripping free, it literally, this thing has probably grabbed one of the femurs off Lothos's leg, and this naked orc is bursting free. You starting.
Las pistol to the face. I'm not going to use the sniper rifle in a lift.
No worries.
08 off of 52, so
nice.
That's like 1 billion levels of success.
Yeah, that's
what,
only five.
Only five. Only five levels of success. This is loud. I apologise. This is the one that couldn't be silenced. Why am I apologising? Captain Noisy McShooterton.
Who'd use a loud gun, honestly?
Oh, terrible. What kind of a stealth mob do you think do you make yourself out to be? Okay. So damage.
7 plus the 5 or the 4?
Do we have whatever you call it?
Superiority, I'm going to say probably not.
Okay. So
not done any scouting. Yeah. Okay, so 12 minus any armor it might have becomes that. So it takes that much. Last blast. What was the units on your?
8.
8. So center of mass. So you're going for a face shot. You actually catch it more chest, blow a massive crater in its chest, and it kind of rocks back and looks at it for a millisecond. Then head comes back up, spittle going everywhere.
That's not good.
So that was Tessera. Zilch isn't here. Hector.
Yeah. So speaking of things that are loud, click, click, boom.
No problem. Am I correct in assuming that Harrow and Zilch are still outside, or are you going to have moved more towards the farmhouse?
We're probably, I mean, Harrow's probably out at the front door of the farmhouse, so he can keep an eye on the grounds, but also listen to what's going on in the house. I mean, not that he'll hear them in the elevator, but
Yeah. No worries.
So I rolled a 6.
Okay.
So that is 5 levels of success.
No worries. Whilst you're working out, Zilch, what's your plan?
Oh, boring out here. We're just wandering, go open up the farm door and go in.
No worries. Well, the farm door's already open because Harrow's
Yeah.
standing there. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
how much
Go
damage?
through.
13.
Okay, minus
And
any armor it
knocks
has.
it prone.
Well, yes, minus any armor it has is still not enough. As you 0.6, you said.
Yeah.
Again,
So-
center of mass.
Body.
You blow. You shoot him. His son, Lax, is absolutely shocked at this whole thing. He's just stock still, standing at the back of the lift behind his dad. You shoot the orc that has erupted from his dad, blows a massive hole straight through him. Smaller hole front, bigger hole at the back, and several shards of his dad and some of the shot hit Lax, who also falls over. And the door
Is he still alive?
no. And then there's a ping, and the doors open.
Mm.
Harrow and Zilch, you hear the ping. You will automatically, because it's the natural thing. You turn to look. The door opens, and you see these two standing in a 2-3 meter across abattoir.
What the hell happened?
They've got orcs.
They were eating them, and somehow one of them was inside him. Never heard of that, but
What?
If he popped out of this
Xenos.
one, it's going to start popping out of the others. We need to call it in now. This has got to be contained.
yeah, I'm gonna get on the radio back to
What do you mean popped
our
out?
contact and say we need purge teams here with flamers right now.
What do
did
you
you
mean?
kill the orcs that were down in the pens?
They're still there. We thought our immediate problem was everyone else.
Understood.
Little ones downstairs, big ones in everybody's stomach.
So the bugs
They've been eating them?
that we found on the road,
Yeah.
that was that kid's pet.
What kind of an idiot gave that kid a pet like that?
Your friend Pod.
My friend. Who said he was
Well, not friend. You know what I mean.
He also, before that, he also said there are loose squigs.
To those who may not know what a squig is, it is one of the types of orc that can generate other types of orcs and grow.
It's
And,
kind of like a ball of angry teeth.
yeah, but it's also part of the orc sort of
Yeah, it's
chain
like a
of.
space hopper with teeth.
Yeah. It's funny you should say that. Can you make me an awareness test? I think I'll ask for an awareness test from Tessera, Hector. Actually, everyone can make it now. I know.
God's sake. 92.
Hey, I finally passed one. I got a 48 under 53 for
I
one
might
success
use a
level.
fortune point.
16 under 41. That's
That's
1,
better,
2,
21.
3 success levels.
No problem.
That is
5 success levels?
Nice.
the hell's awareness there. 10. Okay, so that is 3 success levels after using a fate point.
No worries. As you're talking about squigs and there's a certain amount of interplay between you. There's the farm animals and the like sort of wandering around, and one sort of seems to be rubbing its up against your leg. You start pushing it away just idly. You think you realise it's the same, one of the same things that was doing that to you, Harrow. And then you look down and it's a squig. There are a dozen squigs in this farm area, immediately obvious to you. It's slightly dark. They've been in shadow. They're just farm animals when you can't see them. But now there's more light.
I'm going up to the roof. And I will bolt for the stairs and run past that woman covered in what's left of her husband.
No, the woman wasn't there. It was only
She went back in the
son.
Yeah, she went back in the bedroom.
They don't know that we may have exploded.
In which case, I'm still going for the roof. It's just not inside the farmhouse.
No worries.
I want to get high up.
No worries. I think this is not a bad point to call it. It's 20 to 10. We're hopefully going to extend this for enough weeks so that we have the full group here at the end. So slightly shorter sessions, maybe. We'll see how things roll, and we'll see where the plot leads us. Thank you everybody for playing. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will catch you. Oh, actually, before we do that, Aaron, do you have anything? What needs plugging? You got any plugging things?
Let's see. Over on the Lollygaggers tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you guys in Great Britain might have to catch this on the YouTube or the VOD. We will be doing Session 0 character creation for the Paragon Press Gumshoe game, Swords of the Serpentine. So think swords and sorcery in a Venetian-like Renaissance city. So that should be fun. And then on Friday, I believe it's going to be the finale of Delta Green at the same time. Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. They'll be back with Call of Cthulhu. And then next week, Monday is Otherscape. Tuesday is Star Trek, 2nd edition.
Nice. I did enjoy that. Just literally watched that today. So cool. Ben.
Nope, that's the plug here. It's already Thursday, and I will be plugging this. We've got that other thing happening. Electric State, but not this week. That's next week because it's bi-week, not bi-weekly, fortnightly. Bi-weekly means twice a week. Fortnightly means every 2 weeks. I can speak English.
No worries. Is there anything happening Wednesday?
Not this coming Wednesday, but hopefully the first Wednesday in December we'll actually get Huckleberry off the ground.
No worries.
Work has been plaguing me, you know how it is sometimes.
Oh yeah. No worries. Anyone else got anything they want to plug, add? Cool. So obviously Thursday next week we'll be back here for this. We'll be sadly missing Aaron due to Thanksgiving in the US, but hopefully you have a good time. And but we will carry on. And same time next Thursday. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye.